Yeah, it's the old case. Okay.
No, Lanos as a stelling so gemaakt wordt dat die persoon zo aangeraand was dat hij gebloeid heeft.
If a proposition was made that the deponent was assaulted in such a manner that he bled
Hij heeft zijn neus gebloeid
out of his nose,
en dat van die bloed die verklaring bewees ik je besmet het. Wat zal ik
and
commentaar?
that some of that blood was then fell on that is exhibit JJ. What would you say about that?
Eerstens wil ek net sê dat ek weet nie wat het geword van die deposant nadat hy die kantoor verlaat het nie.
Firstly, I want to say that I don't know what happened to the deponent after he left the office.
Uma kungathiwa umsolwa uye washawa wagcina sewopha ngamakhala bese igazi lachaphazeleka laphayana kulobu ufakazi buka JJ wena uzothini uthi yena uthi akazi ukuthi kwenzakeleni ngomsolwa makaqeda ukuphuma eofisini.
Tweedens, hierdie hele verklaring, hierdie hele bekentenis insluitend aanhangsel A was deur myself persoonlik gegee aan mevrou Du Plessis.
And secondly, this whole statement, including the annexure, was handed over to Mrs. Du Plessis by myself.
Futhi lesi statement ngemva kokuthi siqede mina uqobo lwami ngiye ngasinika unkosazana uDu Plessis esandleni.
Daar is geen manier dat hierdie verklaring voltooi kon gewees het of onderteken kon gewees het nadat ek dit oorhandig het aan mevrou Du Plessis nie, aangesien alles reeds gedoen was in my teenwoordigheid.
And that there is no way that this statement could have been completed or signed after I had given or handed it over to Mrs. Du Plessis, because everything was done in my presence.
Futhi akukhonakala ukuthi lesi statement besingade singagcwaliswa noma sisayinwe ngemva kokuthi mina ngangikade ngisinike unkosazana uDu Plessis ngoba yimina ongiqede konke.
En uw commentaar op die stelling dat die verklaring behoort bloedvlekken te bevat.
And your comment on the fact that this statement is to have blood spots on it.
Glad nie waar nie.
It's not true at all.
Manje uthini uma ingabe kungathiwa lesi statement kwamele sibe nokuchaphazeleka kwegazi uthi akulona iqiniso le.
En misschien net laatstens Landros. Als een stelling zo gemaakt wordt dat die enige plek waar die persoon getekend heeft, is op bladzij 4,
En
paragraaf 8. Als je daarna kan... Ja, ja.
And lastly, if it was to be put to you that the only place where the deponent signed, if we were to go to page 4, paragraph 8.
Maar als je daarna kan deurblaai, dat is een gedeelte wat leest.
There's a part that reads,
Deponents very relaxed, calm, maintaining eye contact when questions are answered. First with the interpreter, then myself. I request a bath to contact my family. Dis nou wat die persoon gesê het. I request a bath to contact my family and have an exchange of clothes and to call my child. As iemand vir ons so sê, dis die enige plek waar daar 'n handtekening aangebring was.
Wat sal die handtekening aangebring?
if someone was to say to you that the only place where the deponent put a signature there, the witness responds and said there is no signature there.
Uma ingabe kungathiwa umsolwa noma umuntu yena athi umsolwa yena usayine nje la kubhalwe ukuthi yena wayekade ecela ukushintsha impahla nokufonela ingane zakhe yena kuzothiwa wena uzothini uthi yena akukho la kusayinwe khona lapho kubhalwe leyo ndaba yokushintsha impahla nokufonela ingane.
Dis nou langs die paragraaf. Dis daar geen handtekening, geen initial.
And that is now next to that, where it's written in, there is no initial and there's no signature.
Futhi kuseduze nala kubhalwe khona akukho la kusayinwe khona awekho nama initials.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Yes, Mr. Ngomezulu.
As it pleases the court, my lord. Morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, I just want to take you to maybe 2-3 aspects. Paragraph 13 of the proforma that you were referred to this morning.
Asiyeke ku paragraph 13 ya le okade uqalisa khona
Where you testified that the annexure, that is now exhibit JJ1, is comprised of 1 to 6 pages, and just on that bolded part, the highlighted part which says NB, each of these pages must also be signed by the magistrate, the deponent, and the interpreter. And then we go to exhibit JJ1. At the bottom of each of the pages, I can refer to them. That's what appears to be a mark on the left. At the bottom.
On the far left.
On the far left, yes. Who made that mark?
Can we just get clarity? Is it this?
Yes.
It's my signature.
And then we see the initials, BS in the middle, and then what appears to be ET on the right. The BS, who made that?
The deponent, and the ET was made by the interpreter.
asiyeke kula ukuthi kokade ubhalile bese kunempawu ethize bekade yenziwe ubani oyenzele umpawu uthi signature yami uthi futhi umnumzana uRamusipili kunala kubhalwe BS bese kubhalwa nento ebonakala ngathi ET ubani obhale uBS ubani obhale uET uthi uBS ubhalwe umsolwa uET ubhalwe uToliki.
But in terms of page 7 of 9, paragraph 13, it says pages 1 to 6 must be signed, not initialed, by yourself, the statement taker, the deponent, and the interpreter. Do you want to comment on that?
It was initialed by each one. I took it as a signature, although not the full signature. Every person signed in my presence on each page.
Kodwa ke lapho
And the last page, as per page 8 of the pro forma, full signatures were attached.
kodwa ke lapho kubhalwe ukuthi wonke lama page kwamele asayinwe hayi ukuthi kubhalwe ama initials wena njengoba wawukade ubhalisa lapho uthini ngalokho uthi mina ngithathe ukuthi njengoba babhala ama initials kuyabonisa ukuthi bayavuma lento ebhalwe lapho mina ingakho ngiye ngakuvumela ukuthi babhale ama initials bese emuva ekugcineni bagcina sekuthi bayasayina ama full signature nangokho ngale bekuthiwe kwamele bayenza ama full signature kodwa ngiye ngayithatha injalo.
Now, regarding exhibit JJ in brackets 1, that is the statement itself, did you, as the story was narrated to you, did you ask any clarification questions on issues that were not clear to you, or you just wrote as it was narrated to yourself?
I wrote as it was narrated to me.
Manje ke ake usitshele njengoba istatement sasikade sikhulunywa wena mhlambe wawulibele ubamisa ubuza imibuzo uba la ungacaciselanga la bangacaciselanga khona uthi cha bengikade ngibhala njengoba bebakade bengitshela.
I did ask one question, and that is about the word Carlos and Carlos, because I couldn't clearly hear what he said.
Umbuzo wodwa ongiye ngawubuza imayelana negama uCarlos noma uCarlos ngoba ngangikade ngingezwa ukuthi wayekade ethini umso.
And was that ever clarified, whether it was a Carlos or a Carlos?
He indicated that it is interchangeable and that it is Carlos or Carlos, but for him it's Carlos.
uthi ke lawo uye washo ukuthi lelo gama igama ukuthi lingahle lisetshenziswe womabini uCarlos noma uCaros kodwa yena uthi usebenzisa igama elithi Carlos.
Now, with respect, because you were narrating as you were told, this edition that you were taken through, that I was the only one without the firearm, and I had a small one in my pocket. At what stage then was this added?
That was added by the deponent on his request after the full statement was taken already, and it was interpreted back to him, and he then told the interpreter that he wants to make an addition to that part, which he did.
Manje ke le ndawo le uthi ubuye kwagcwaliselwa khona ke ukuthi le ndawo la kuthiwa bangade ngingenaso isibamu kodwa bengiphethe esincane esikhwameni kugcwaliselwe nini lapho uthi ke kugcwaliswe ngemva kokuthi statement sonke sasikade sesifundelwe umsolwa bese yena watshela uToliki ukuthi mina bengicela ukuthi kugcwaliswe laphayana ngemva kokuthi sekugcwalisiwe kwafundwa futhi yena wathi yebo statement bekafuna ukusenza leso.
As the court pleases, my lord, those are the questions that I had for the witness.
Yes, thanks. Mr. Gomezulu?
Court pleases. I've got questions, my lord, for the witness. Mrs. Cronje, we are here dealing with the statement which is taken as a confession. Do you agree?
That's correct.
Silapha mayelana ne statement esetshenziswa njengokugonyuluka uyavuma uthi yebo.
I think for the benefit of the accused persons to understand the logic and the reasons why I'll be asking this question is because I want them to follow that the statement that you say it was made by accused number 2 was a confession. Do you understand that?
Ek verstaan.
I understand.
Uthi ke ukuze abasolwa baze balandelele ufuna ukuthi umanje asho ukuthi iqiniso ukuthi lesi statement noma lokugonyuluka ilokho obekade kugonyulukwa umsolwa wesibini uthi yebo yazwisisa.
Yes. I'll just make an example from the questions that I'll be asking you. For instance, if in a plea in terms of section 112 of the Criminal Procedure Act, the accused pleads guilty to a particular offense. As a presiding officer, if you are not satisfied with the elements of that particular offense, you are not going to accept that plea. Is that correct?
We object against that line of cross-examination. Firstly, it's irrelevant, and secondly, the duty of this witness was just merely to record what she was being told and not to make any determination.
My lord, at the end of the day, as a presiding officer, she had to determine whether what was given to her.
No, she doesn't have that choice.
No, my lord, may I be given an opportunity to
You say
address?
she has to determine. I can't allow that question. She determines nothing. I determine. She records.
My argument, may I be given an opportunity
Okay, fine,
to
fine, go
address?
on.
I'm saying the witness is coming to assist the court to make a determination. The court cannot make a determination in the absence of anything that is placed on record. This is a presiding officer. So the presiding officer
At the end of the day, the court must make a determination whether it was an admission or a confession. Those bases, they must come from the witness who gives formal evidence.
Yes, you're right.
That's correct, my lord.
And she
That's-
records what the witness tells her,
That's correct.
not what she thinks the witness should tell her.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's it.
I think I'm misquoted.
We are not, because you're saying she determines. She determines nothing in terms of the law. Nothing.
Let me just make this question straightforward to the witness. What is put to you when you were taking them? Was it a confession? Was it a confession?
The confession is an admission of guilt in its true sense. It's not for me to determine if he confessed here or not. It's for me to write down what he said, to produce it to court, and for this court to take it into account with all the other evidence to determine.
Lento ebekade utshelwa yona wakade kukugonyuluka na uthi ke umanti yena uma ephendula ukugonyuluka ukuvuma icala mina bengade ngingenayo ingxenye yokuthi noma bengade kungasumsebenzi wami ukuthi mina ngithathe isinqumo sokuthi uyagonyuluka noma uvuma icala mina bekwamele ngibhale lokhu engitshelwa ngoko.
Yes, I agree with you. But my concern is you are here to testify under the provisions of Section 219. Because the pro forma that you completed, the rights that you explained to the deponent related to the provisions of Section 217. Sorry, 217, not 219. So this court must, at the end of the day, determine whether what was taken from accused number 2 was an admission or a confession.
Die hof, hierdie hof, die is korrek, nie ek nie.
As you say, you are right, the court, not me.
Correct.
Manje inkantolo kwamele ithathe isinqumo sokuthi lokhu obokade ukunikwa noma lokhu obokade ukubhala ukugonyuluka noma ukuvuma icala uthi yebo ukhuluma iqiniso hayi mina kodwa inkantolo.
What makes you to say accused number 2 made a confession before you? What makes you to say that?
Hierdie deposant het gekom en het gesê hy wil 'n konfessie aflê.
This deponent came and he said that he wants to make a confession.
Dit is nie vir my as voorsittende beampte en wat op daardie stadium nie in 'n hof was om te besluit dit wat hy wil vertel uit sy eie vrye wil is 'n bekentenis of is net klomp erkennings of is niks nie.
It was not for me then, as a presiding officer and who was not in court on that particular day, to then determine or decide whether this was a confession, a mere or just a mere admission or nothing.
Hy het nie voor die hof verskyn nie.
He did not appear before
Dit
court.
was nie vir my om deur die getuienis te sif nie.
It was not for me to then take, in other words, to
Om
evaluate
deur dit
the
wat hy sê te
evidence,
sif nie.
or to evaluate that which he was saying.
Manje yini into ekwenza ukuthi uthi umsolwa ngalesikhathi ekuwe wayekade egonyuluka uthi mina umsebenzi wami umsolwa ufike wathi ufuna ukugonyuluka umsebenzi wami bekuwukuthi ngibhale lokhu abekade ekusho kwakade kungasumsebenzi wami njengoba nangokho nguwumantshi kodwa bengingahlalanga enkantolo la ukuthi bengizwa amacala bengilalela nje yonke into abakade ayisho ngibhala ngaleyo ndlela ebekade eyisho ngayo kwakungasumsebenzi wami ukuthatha isinqumo ukuthi uyagonyuluka noma uvuma icala.
Ma'am.
Die aanduiding, die aanhef van hierdie dokument beteken nie noodwendig dat dit wat op die eind van die dag gesê word neerkom op 'n bekentenis al dan nie.
And also the attachment of this document does not then indicate or say that what he then said on that day comes down to a confession or not.
Futhi nento ebhaliwe la ayisho ukuthi into ayisho ngalelo langa yayikade kugonyuluka noma cha.
Ma'am, the state called you give evidence that you as the magistrate on that day, the 24th of June 2020, under the provisions of section 2171B, if not mistaken, Roman figure 2, you took a confession under that provision. Now you testify that the accused made a statement. What makes you to say the accused person was confessing before you?
Maar ek het daardie vraag reeds geantwoord.
My Lord, I've already answered that
En
question.
dit gaan nie verander nie. Ek weet nie of jy wil hê ek moet dit herhaal nie.
And it won't change. I don't know whether you want me to repeat it.
As long as I'm not satisfied with the answer, I'll keep on asking it, because it's a technical point that I'm going to raise. We are all
Om
lawyers.
dit te reis,
You are
maar ek
welcome to raise
staan
it.
volstaan by my antwoord, meneer.
Let
Met
me
alle
just
respek.
rephrase it by saying, accused number 2 did not come to before you and say, I want to make a confession. Correct?
Nie in daai woorde nie.
Not in those words.
Thank you. That's what I'm drawing your attention to. You never said I'm coming to make a confession.
ake ngithi kuwe ke umsolo wesibini akazange eze kuwe athi ngifisa ukugonyuluka uthi nangokho angashongo ngalawo magama.
It's for the presiding office or that magistrate to determine that such elements of a confession does not qualify.
The court, please, we object.
There's no law
That
like
is not
that. You
correct.
can sit down. There's no law like that. There's no law like that.
The 217.
Yeah, but you're not quoting 217.
My lord, can we be broad-minded when we make
Yes.
submissions?
Within the law, no problem.
May I submit to the effect that section 2171A that deals with a non-judicial officer who's taking a confession, he must take it before a magistrate. Why? Can't you ask a question as to why must it be taken before a magistrate? Because it says a peace officer who takes a statement from the suspect or the accused in terms of section 2171A, it must be reduced into writing before a magistrate. The question is why before a magistrate? The answer is because the magistrate knows all the elements of a particular
Let me
offense.
tell you how the law developed. 1929, there's a case called S versus Mullen. You know that case, Mr. Hello? 1929, S versus Mullen, where it's transplanted from English law, where it was said that a confession is an unequivocal admission of all the elements
Correct.
of
A particular offense.
That's it, yeah.
Correct.
And the law develops from there. Now, this witness, that's why, for instance, I'm sorry to say it, she wrote everything this witness tells her. Like even saying, he saw at me and said, shit, whatever. Her job is not to evaluate what the witness is saying to her. Her job is to take down what the confessor or the deponent wants to say. That's all.
But if
That's
there
why
is-
she's written, for instance, that the parents of some of these accused held a meeting, and some of the sisters of the accused wanted to report to the police. All those things. You can't leave them out.
No, but I appreciate the fact that the court has mentioned the case of Malin.
I know it.
Yes. My lord, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, after this witness has taken a statement from accused number 2.
That's it, yeah.
Yes. The elements for her to say unequivocally that statement constitute a confession.
It's not for her to say that. That's all you
I
listen.
understand.
It's
I'm
not for her.
getting to the technical part of that, because the basis for getting into that technical part, I'm getting into the statement itself, the contents of the statement. May I just get into the statement so that I'll make logic at a later stage when I'm making submissions. For instance, ma'am, let's get into this one. You talked about accused number 1. Okay, you talk about accused number 2 going to the room of Muzi. Then they later went to room 1B. Remember saying that?
Usakhumbula ukuthi ukhulume ngomsolo wesibini ethi uye waya egumbini lakhe umuzi mabaqeda bahamba baya eroom 1B.
Ek het genotuleer
I noted down,
Ngibhale ukuthi
en ek haal aan,
and I quote,
we were in Muzi's room and we then proceeded to Sifisu's and Ntokozisi's room number 1B. Unquote.
sasikade sise gumbini lika Muzi sahamba saya egumbini lika Sifiso uroom number 1B lika Sifiso nomthokozisi.
Yes. Yes. In that statement that you took, you also it is mentioned that accused number 2 was sent to the kitchen. Am I right?
Who's accused number 2? The deponent.
Bongani, yes, the deponent.
Kuleso statement futhi kunala kubhalwe ukuthi umsolo wesibini uye waya ekitchen. Iqiniso lelo?
Kan iemand net verwys na daai dele in die verklaring?
can you just point
Just
out to
after
that
that,
particular?
can you read that statement? Proceed with that statement. When they entered into Sifiso's room in 1B, then proceed on that statement.
Ngibonisa ukuthi kukuphi la ukhuluma khona la ukhuluma uthi uye waya ekitchen uthi ummeli qhubeka ufunde khona lapho la ugcine khona.
There's somewhere where they said the deponent was sent. He went out and left.
Kan iemand asseblief verwys na daai deel bladsy? Ek kan nie deur die hele
Can you refer me?
verklaring.
I can't go through the whole statement. Can you
No,
refer
no.
me to a page?
Okay. In
Die
terms of
enigste, ekskuus, ek het dit
Sorry.
gekry bladsy 4.
I found it in page 4.
As dit die deel is na waarna u verwys.
That's where that you are referring to.
yes.
Waar dit lees en ek haal aan. Karos en Sifiso then ordered me to go to the kitchen.
Correct.
Unquote. Is dit daai deel?
Is it
That's
that
it.
side?
Yes.
Uthi ke yiyona le uyifunayo la kubhalwe ukuthi uCarlos noSifiso baye bathi mina ngiye ekitchen uthi yebo yiyona engiyifunayo.
Yes. I just want to note that part that you said. Carlos and Sifiso said, I must go to the kitchen.
Karos en Sifiso then ordered me to go to the kitchen.
Correct, yes. So in that statement, will you agree with me that there was no direct communication between Kelly Kumalo and accused number 2? In that statement that you have read. Kelly or did not directly communicate with accused number 2.
Daar is nie sulke inligting vir my gegee om neer te skryf.
There was no such information given to me to write down.
Uzovumelana nami ukuthi kuleso statement akukho la ukuthi uKelly Khumalo uye wakhuluma nomsolwa wesibini uqobo lwakhe uthi akukho la ngitshelwe ukuthi ukhulume naye ingakho ngayibhalanga.
All right. This statement further proceed to say when they entered, sorry, let me just rephrase it because I just want to draw your attention from what you were taken to, you were told to take down. Just bear with me, my lord. Just a
Okay,
second.
okay, no.
Yes. I'm trying to organize a question that will be relevant for. Yeah. If you'll be able to answer this question, I just want to establish whether when you were asked about clarifications that you've made, or you sought when accused was giving you, or the deponent was giving you the statement? Did it come to your mind that he was confessing to a particular offense? For instance, did it come to your mind that that deponent was confessing to a robbery at that stage? For clarification.
Wat ek gedink het op daai stadium of nie gedink het nie, is eintlik irrelevant ten opsigte van die neem van die verklaring.
What I thought or didn't think at that particular moment is irrelevant when it comes to the taking down of the statement.
Ngalesikhathi umsolwa ekhuluma nawe wena uye wacabanga mhlawumbe ukuthi umsolwa wayekade ekhuluma ngokubanjwa kwenkunzi uthi ebengikade ngicabanga bekade kungabalulekanga njengoba ngangikade ngithatha lesi statement.
Hy moes toegelaat word om uit sy eie uit te vertel wat hy ook al wil vertel, sodat dit neergepen kan word.
He had to be allowed to say whatever it is that he wanted to say so that it's being written down.
Sonder om hom in een of ander rigting in te druk waarin hy nie eers wil gaan nie.
Without putting him or cornering him into a particular direction which he did not want to go into.
Umsolwa yena bekwamele akhulume noma yini le bekade efuna ukuyikhuluma ngaphandle kokuthi afakwe ekhoneni elithize.
Jy moet net kennis neem wanneer 'n persoon na 'n mens toe kom as voorsittende beampte, as 'n landdros, om 'n bekentenis te maak, weet jy glad nie waaroor hulle met jou wil praat nie.
You must also take into account that when a person is brought before you as a presiding officer, a magistrate, that you know nothing about what it is that they want to tell you about.
Ukhumbule futhi nokuthi umuntu uma elethwa phambi kwakho njengomantshi awazi lutho ngento kwamele ayikhulume.
Ek het geen kennis gedra van die saak of die feite van die saak nie, en ek het nie geweet wat hy wil hê ek moet neerskryf nie. Aldus hoekom ek hom gelos het dat hy praat wat hy wil sê.
Must also take into account that I didn't know the case or the facts or the merits of the case, what it is that he wanted to say. So he had to be allowed to say whatever it is that he wanted to say.
Ukhumbule futhi mina ngangikade ngingazi ukuthi bekwamele athini, ngangikade ngingazi futhi nangalo lelo cala manje bengingazi ukuthi yini ekwamele ngiyibhale ngaphandle kokuthi ngilalele lokho obekade ekukhuluma.
My Lord,
Able.
thank you.
Thank you.
Got no further questions.
Right, Mr. Munisi. Thank you. Mr.
Thank you, my Lord.
Kumalo.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mshololo.
No questions, my lord.
Okay, I just have 1, 2, 3 questions. To satisfy the courts. Do you know Carlos or Carlos?
Nee,
No,
Have you ever met any of those persons
geen idee van
in
wie
your
dit
life?
is.
no idea who it is.
Uyamazi uCarlos noma uCarlos? Uke wahlangana naye uthi cha angimazi uCarlos noma uCarlos angaze ngahlangana nabo labo bantu.
When you're taking the statement, did you know a gentleman called Mapisa?
Nee,
No,
Ngalesikhathi uthatha lesi statement wawumazi uMaphisa uthi cha.
Did you know Basotho Hostel in Vosloorus?
nee, ek weet nie waar dit is nie.
no, I don't know where it is.
Ihostel yasebasuthwini yase Vosloorus uyayazi uthi angazi ukuthi ikuphi.
And at Ikeli Kumalo again.
Did you know Kelly Kumalo? No.
uKelly Khumalo wawukade umazi uthi cha.
And Senzo Meyiwa.
Nee,
No,
You don't
uSenzo
watch,
Meyiwa wawukade
you never
umazi.
watched football
nee,
before?
no.
nou.
Okay.
Kusho
Okay.
ukuthi wena awubukeli
Any questions
umdlalo
arising?
webhola uthi cha.
None from the state side.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Ngiyabonga selaqedile.
Yes, Mr. Kamsipi.
The state calls the next witness or requests that the previous witness, Lieutenant Colonel Madebe, be recalled. This witness is going to testify in respect of exhibit HH.
Was that Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe?
Hadebe, my lord.
Okay. Yes, say the
I'm
witness
sorry, it's
name.
Exhibit GG, my lord.
GG.
Not HH, it's Exhibit GG.
Your full names and surname?
Nkosikhona James Hade.
Do you have any objection in taking the prisoner under oath?
No.
If so, do you swear that the evidence you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing else but the truth? If you do swear, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Witness sworn, my lord.
Yes.
As a court, please, my lord, the state just begs leave to hand up a copy of Exhibit GG. The witness is also going to refer to Exhibit GG1. Those are photos of the paintings out. Only certain photos were referred to in the previous witness statement, photos 2 to 7 and 26 to 31.
Yes.
The witness is now going to refer to the other photos that were not attached to Exhibit
Why should he refer to them? Tell me.
GG1. This is after the ruling that the paintings out are admissible. So the witness is going to show those photos that were taken when the accused was accused number 1 was pointing out certain spots.
Oh yeah, I get you. That's what he's saying. He just mentions photos at random.
Oh,
So
no.
the photos he mentions are allegedly those he alleges that they were shown by the accused.
Yes, that were
the spots.
taken during the pointings out.
During the pointing out.
Yes.
Because they could not be shown before they were rendered admissible.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe, you've already testified regarding Exhibit GG. Is that correct?
Yes.
Usewuphane ngobufakazi lobu buka GG uthi yebo iqiniso.
I just wish to draw your attention to Exhibit GG, page 2, just below paragraph 5, or point number 5 on page 2. You see on page 2,
Yes.
there are 5 stipulated points. There's a paragraph that says the said person is informed that is in the presence of a justice of the peace.
Yes.
If you can just maybe just to contextualize or evidence, just put that on record.
The said person is informed that he is in the presence of a justice of the peace, an officer in the South African police. He is warned that he is not compelled to point out any sin or points or sins or say anything about such sins. The said person is further warned that he may point out or may say, or what he may point out or may say will be noted down, and photographs of the scene or points out will be taken and may later be used as evidence during subsequent trial.
Manje ke sicela kuye ku page 2 usifundele lapho la ku number 5. Uyafunda ke lapho ku number 5 uthi umuntu loyo uyaziswa ukuthi useka phambi komuntu obekade kumuntu ozimele ongahlangani nokuphenya kwaleli cala kodwa eyiphoyisa futhi lo muntu uyaziswa ukuthi yena akaphoqwanga ukuthi ayokhomba kule ndawo la bekade kwenzakala lesi sigameko noma yini azoyikhomba yona kuzothathwa ithombe futhi ingahle isetshenziswe njengobufakazi uma icala liqhubeka.
Yes. Paragraph 5.
Paragraph 5, he asked whether he knows and understands the warning given to him, and the answer is as follows: I understand the warning.
Yena uye wabuzwa ukuthi uyazwisisa njengoba wayekade exwayisiwe uthi yena yebo uyazwisisa isexwayiso.
Paragraph 6, he is further asked if he still wishes to point out sins or points out, and the reply is, I still want to point out and give a statement.
Yena ke uye waqhubeka ebuzwa ukuthi usafuna na ukuyokhomba, yena waphendula wathi yebo ngisafisa ukuyokhomba ngiphinde ngenze istatement.
Yes. You can then proceed to page 5, paragraph 11.
Maqhubeka ke uye ku page 5 ku paragraph 11.
It starts as notes down the following information.
Iqala ngokuthi uqaphele lokho kulandelayo.
Vehicle SAP number
Imoto inombolo plate yakhona
BVL 755B.
uyena uBVL 755B.
Kilometer readings 80652.
Iyasho nokuthi bese sehamba amakhilometer angalingana no 80,652.
Driver warrant officer Nailana.
Umshayeli waleyo moto kakade ku warrant officer Nailana.
Passenger left front Lieutenant Colonel Hate.
Umuntu obekade ehleli ngaphambili ku laphayana emotweni kakade ku Lieutenant Colonel Hatebe.
Passenger right back none.
Emuva kwakade kuhleli bani emuva kwamshayeli kwakade kungena umuntu ohleli lapho.
Passenger left back Muzika ukhulelwa Sthemba Sibiya.
Umuntu obekade ehleli ngakwisanda sesinqele kuleyo moto emuva ubani kubhalwe ukuthi uMuzika Sthemba Sibiya.
Name of photographer is Sergeant Maphakela.
Umuntu obekade ethwebula izithombe uSergeant Maphakela.
And says depart from Albertine SAPS
Yona ke iyasuka imoto kusuka eAlbertine esiphoyiseni.
If you can use photos 8 and 9 to illustrate your evidence.
Asiye ke kuyithombe isithombe sesishagalombini nesishagalolunye.
Photo 8 and 9 shows myself, the driver, and Muzika Ukhulelwa Sibiya at SAPS Albertine, just about to leave.
Lezo ithombe sesishagalombini nesishagalolunye zona zibonisa mina noMuzi ebesikade sisesiphoyiseni sase Albertine sisazohamba.
Sorry, are you not able to beam the photos for the other accused to see this?
Yeah, that's what we were discussing earlier on. I think they're not yet scanned.
They are not mounted.
Yes, they're not yet scanned.
Oh, don't you have a spare?
We can scan. We can scan.
You
them.
have 2 of those documents. You can give them to the gentleman there. When you say 9, you look at 9, pass it on to gentleman number 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that not possible?
It is possible, but we can also scan them.
If you have 2, fine. But if you have 1, what can we do? Maybe they can use this one of mine. Maybe the second one.
Just no, it's not necessary, Malota. I have another copy.
Oh, you have. Yeah. Okay, let's proceed, sir.
We'll try and scan them during the long adjournment. Yes, you may proceed.
Photo 8 and 9 shows us about to leave Albertine SAPS.
Isithombe lesi sesishagalombini nesishagalolunye sona sibonisa thina sisazohamba lapha esiphoyiseni sase-Albertine.
Photo 10 and 11. 10 shows the odometer, though it's not clear, the odometer of the vehicle upon departure.
Isithombe lesi sesishume sona siyabonisa ukuthi imoto yayikade ihambe banga elingakanani.
Photo 11, we are all in the car leaving.
Isithombe seshume nomuvo sibonisa sisonke sisemotweni.
Just on photo 10, can you just put in record the kilometers on departure?
Though they are not clear, but I did write them on the pro forma as 80652.
Amakhilomitha wona ake usitshele ukuthi nangokho angabonakali kahle kodwa ngiwabhalile laphayana athi 80652.
Yes.
We then departed to Fosloras,
Saqhubeka saya eFosloras.
and on photo 12, it is our arrival at the said premises.
Bese ke uma siya kwisithombe seshume nambini siyabonisa mase sesifika kuleyo ndawo.
Now, how did you get to that place that is shown on photo 12?
We were directed by the accused.
Nifike kanjani kule ndawo eyukuthi ibonakala lapho kwisithombe sesishume nambini uthi sitshelwe umsolwa ukuthi sihambe kanjani.
And just for record purposes, can you once again put his name on record?
Muzika ukhulelwa Sithemba Sibiya.
Ake usitshele ukuthi ubani lo muntu othi uyena obekade entshela ukuthi niyephi uthi umuzika ukhulelwa Sithemba Sibiya.
Yes, and can you just clarify, did he point the road from the police station up to this point, or what was the position?
No, my lord, he never pointed the road from the police station.
Yes.
He requested us to drive him to the entrance of Fosloras, as I had already given evidence.
Ake usazise ke ukuthi wenzile ukukhombile ukuthi hambani lani ijike lani iphume kanje kulomgwaqo othi cha uye wasicela ukuthi simfikise la iFosloras kungenwa khona ekuqaleni kweFosloras.
From there, he then directed us to this house.
Ukusuka lapho ke wasihambisa ke ukuthi siyofika kanjani kulendlu ebonakala kuleso sithombe.
Photo 13 shows Muzi at the back on the left side with the door open.
Isombe seshume nantathu sibonisa umuzi esemuva emotweni.
And do you know the address of that particular house that's shown on photo 12?
The specific house had no address.
Lesiya sithombe simbonisa emuva umnyango uvuliwe. Uyabuzwa ukuthi lelo kheli la kuleyo ndlu wawungade niyibona noma niyazi ukuthi yayikade ingenalo ikheli leyo jaridi.
Yes, you may proceed.
And then photo 14 shows Muzika Kulelwa pointing out where he alleges he stood during the incident.
Uyake kwisithombe sesishume nane uthi sibonisa umuzi la yena ethi wayekade eme khona ngalesikhathi isigameko siyenza,
including photo 15
nesithombe sesishume nanhlanu
and photo 16.
nesithombe sesishume nesithupha.
Photo 17 shows us leaving the premises.
Isithombe lesi sesishume nesikhombisa siyasibonisa sesihamba kuleya ndawo.
And we were directed to a place next to the hostel which is on photo 18.
Siye sayisiwa ke kwindawo engase hostel esikwisithombe sesishume nesishagalombini.
Just before you proceed, Lieutenant Colonel, on photo 17, just to the left of the vehicle, there's a structure there. Can you just put that on record? What is that?
It's an electricity substation.
Manje lapho kwisithombe sesishumi nesikhombisa kunento laphayana la ukuthi ingasemotweni yini uthi yila ukuthi ugesi wawukade udonswa khona.
Photo 18 shows us at the next place where he says he got off from the vehicle.
Isithombe sesishumi nesishiyagalombili sisibonisa indawo la yena athi uye wahlika emotweni.
Photo 19 shows us exactly where he got out.
Isithombe sesishumi nesishiyagalolunye sisibonisa la ukuthi uye wahlika khona,
Including photo 20,
naso isithombe samashumi amabili.
photo 21 shows us when we were leaving that place.
Isithombe semashumi amabili nanye sisibonisa la besikade sihamba kuleyo ndawo.
Photo 22 is arrival at Albertine SAPS.
Lesi sengamashumi amabili nambili sisibonisa sesifika ke esiphoyiseni sase Albertine,
Including 23,
naso semashumi amabili nantathu.
24 shows myself standing next to Muzi.
Isithombe samashumi amabili nane sisibonisa mina ngime eduze nomuzi
At Albertine SAPS.
besikade sisesiphoyiseni sase Albertine ngaleso sikhathi.
Photo 25 shows the odometer reading.
Isithombe sangamashumi amabili nanhlanu sibonisa ukuthi imoto yayihambe ibanga elingakanani.
It is not clear, my lord, but I had noted it on the pro forma as 80690.
Nkosi yenkantolo akubonakali kahle la kwisithombe kodwa ngibhalile ukuthi amakhilomitha lapho wayekade sewathi 80690.
If you can refer to page 5 of the preamble, exhibit GG.
Ake uyeke ku page 5 wobufakazi buka
Can you
GG.
just place on record from date return?
Date returned 2020-0605, time 13:30.
Ake usho ke ukuthi nibuye nini uthi sibuye nge-5 zika June 2020 imizuzu emashumi amathathu ngemva kwehora lokuqala emini.
Kilometer readings 80690.
Amakhilomitha wona abonisa ukuthi wakade ukuthi 80690.
Yes, what happened after that?
We went back into the office that we used before we left.
Kwenzakeleni ngemva kwalokho uthi sibuyele kuleli office la besikade sikhona ngaphambi kokuthi sihambe.
And I requested Sergeant Mapakela to obtain photos of Muzi after the pointing out.
Ngacela ke uSergeant Maphakela ukuthi athathe izithombe zikamuzi ngemva kokuthi kwakade sekukhonjiwe.
Just for record purposes, which are those photos?
That's photo 26 to photo 31.
Eziphi izithombe lezi ukhuluma ngazo uthi ilezi ukusuka kuyithombe semashumi amabili nesithupha ukuya 31 ukuya kwisithombe sangamashumi amathathu nomuvo.
Yes.
After photos were taken, and then we then sat down with Muzi,
Ngemva kokuthi izithombe zithathwe siye sahlala ke nomuzi
and I obtained further clarification of what he had pointed out.
mina ke ngathatha futhi nengazelo nokucaciselwa kwezinto ebekade ezikhomba.
Should I read it in?
Yes.
Ngingafunda yavunywa naku uyafunda.
It states, Muziga Ukulelwa Stemba Sibiya states that, I'm not sure about the month and day, but it was the year 2014. It was on a Wednesday when I was called by Marco Butelezi, who asked me where I was, and I told him at home where I stayed. And he told me that he was coming to see me. He came accompanied by his friend Makimba, Utelezi, and they were in a white Polo, VW. I got inside the Polo and Marco told me that he had a job for us. I asked him what job it was, and he told me that it was to kill someone. I asked who that person was, and he said Senzo. I said, fine, we can do it. And we decided to go first to see a Nyanga, it's a Sangoma, to check whether the job will be successful. We went to the old man and he threw the bones and said it was good. The job can be done successfully. We paid 50 rands for checking and left. I was dropped off at home and we agreed to meet on Saturday, the day of the job. On Saturday we met and we went to a place, a house. I pointed out to Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe today, 2020-0605 in Fos Loras, and we stopped at the corner and walked there. I was asked whether I want to go in, and I said no. I will wait outside. Marco and Makimba went inside the house, and I heard about 3 shots, and they came out running.
Just before shots, there's another way to just put that on record.
I heard about 3 gunshots, and they came out running. We all left and ran to the car. I was told in the car by Marco that they went in and found people inside and demanded money and cell phones. He told me Senzo confronted them and was fighting and resisting. He was then shot and everyone ran to the bedrooms. We drove back to my place at Sutu Hostel and I got out next to the high mast, the electric light. They then left and the firearm was with Marco. I pointed out the 2 places, the house where the shooting took place and the spot where I was dropped off after the shooting to Lieutenant Colonel Hade. I can confirm that my rights were explained to me and I was not assaulted or threatened.
Nasi-ke istatement esifundwa uyena uKennel uthi anginaso isiqiniseko selanga kodwa kakade kunyaka ka2014 wakade kungolosithathu uma ngithola ucingo olubuya kuMakho Buthelezi engibuza ukuthi ngikuphi mina ngamtshela ukuthi ngisendlini la ngihlala khona wathi uzoza ezongibona wafika ngempela ebekade ehamba noma Kimbe Buthelezi bona bebakade behamba ngepolo emhlophe ngangena phakathi kwepolo uMakho wangitshela ukuthi kunomsebenzi obekade kwamele suyenze ngabuza ukuthi omuphi umsebenzi yena wangitshela ukuthi uwokubulala umuntu othize ngabuza ukuthi ubani umuntu obekade kwamele ayobulawa wathi uSenzo mina ngathi kulungile singawenza lo msebenzi sathatha isinqumo sokuthi siqale siye kwinyanga noma sangoma ukuyohlola ukuthi umsebenzi ungakwazi ukwenzeka bese saya-ke kuloyo mkhulu yena wafika washaya amathambo washo ukuthi kuyakhanya umsebenzi ungayenzeka samkhokhela imali elingana ne50 rand ngemva kokuthi sekahlolile masiqeda sahamba mina ngiye ngashiwa endlini ngavuma ukuthi sizohlangana ngomgqibelo ngalesuku lokwenza umsebenzi ngomgqibelo sahlangana and when is it when
Yes.
sahlangana saya kule ndawo engiyikhombe engiyikhombile kuKennel Hadebe namuhla nge-5 zika June 2020 eFosloras ngafika ngama nasekhoneni la besihamba khona ngiye ngabuzwa ukuthi bengifisa ukungena phakathi ngathi cha umakho noMakhimbi bona baye bangena phakathi endlini ngemva kwalokho ngizwe ukudubula kwesibhamu kathathu bese baphuma bona bagijima siye sagijimela emotweni ngiye ngatshelwa emotweni umakho ukuthi baye bathola abantu phakathi bona bafika bafuna imali nama cellphone ungitshele ukuthi uSenzo uye weza kubo elwa nabo engavumi ukuthi kukhishwe lokhu bekade kuceliwe yena ke uye wadubula wonke umuntu wagijimela ekamereni siye saqhubeka sashayela kwimoto saya eSuthu Hostel la ngiye ngahliswa ngaseduze kwe
High mast.
ngafika ngahliswa ngabuyisibani lesi eside lesi esibizwa phecelezi i-high mast mina ke ngiye ngahamba isibhamu sasikade sikumakho mina ngikhombe indawo ezimbini kule yandlu la kukade kudutshulwe khona ngikhombe indawo la ngiye ngashiwa khona futhi nendawo engiye ngaba khona kwadutshulwa kuyo ngikhomba kuye uKennel Hadebe ngiyavuma ukuthi mina amalungelo wami ayewachazwa futhi angizange ngishawe noma ngithuselwe siphelela lapho statement.
There are marks there at the bottom. Can you just explain them?
Okay, there's a thumbprint of Muzi and a signature.
Kunezinto ezenziwe lapho ezansi uthi kunesithupha esibekiwe sikaMuzi nesignature yakhe nisizwile istatement lesengisifundile insizwa zayithi and the accused also confirms my lord that they understood the statement as I was interpreting it to them.
Okay. And is it correct that the annexure consists of 3 pages? There are also marks on each page. Just explain those marks.
Statement lesi kunezinto intathu akuchaze lapho.
On the 3 pages, there's the first page, thumbprint and a signature. Second page, thumbprint and a signature, as well as the third one.
La kwi-page yokuqala kunesithupha esibekiwe lapho no signature na kwi-page yesibili kunesithupha esibekiwe ne-signature kwi-page yesithathu kunesithupha ne-signature ezibekiwe.
All of Muzi Sibiya.
Uthi zonke ezakhe uMuzi Sibiya.
If I can ask you to turn to page 5 of the annexure exhibit GG, paragraph 12. Can you just put that on record?
After conclusion of the pointing out of the scenes or points, the notes are read to the person who pointed out and they are interpreted once again. The following questions are now put to the person who pointed out the scene or the points.
Ngemva kokuthi kukhonjiwe ke kunezinto ezikade zibhaliwe bese ke uyabuzwa imibuzo elandelelayo ngemva kokuthi ngaphambi kokuthi akhome.
Are you satisfied that which you pointed out and said has been noted down correctly? The answer is yes. Are you satisfied to which you pointed out is your own version of what took place? The answer is yes. Do you have any complaints about the manner in which I conducted the pointing out? The answer is no. Are you satisfied with the interpreter? The answer, not applicable because there wasn't any interpreter.
Umbuzo uyabuzwa ke ukuthi wena selekile ile ndawo okade uyikhomba uthi yebo futhi umbuzo olandelayo wena selekile ingalendlela ebekade kusetshenzwa ngakhona ngalesikhathi uyokhomba uthi yebo bese ke kuyabuzwa ukuthi unaso isikhalazo ngalendlela ukuthi mina ngiyiphoyisa ngiye ngasebenzisana nawe njengoba wakade uyokhomba uthi cha akanaso isikhalazo uyabuzwa ke ngotoliki ukuthi wena selekile ukuthi utolike kahle lapho kakade kungena toliki ingakho kungabhalwa ngalutho.
As a court, please, my lord, the state requests that the photos that the witness has just referred to that did not form part of the exhibit bundle before be admitted as part of exhibit GG1, the photo album. The witness referred to photos 8, up to photos 22, in fact 25, my lord, which did not previously form part of the photo album. So it's photos 8 up to photo 25 as part of exhibit GG1. There's also photo 1, Lieutenant Colonel, if you can just explain photo 1.
Uyaqala umshutshisi ukuthi zonke ithombe leziyana ezikhonjiwe namhlanje zisetshenziswe njengobufakazi futhi uthi aye kwisithombe sokuqala ake achazisele ngaso.
Photo 1 is a photo of the office that I used for the interview and where pictures or photographs were taken of Muzi.
Isithombe lesokuqala sibonisa ihhovisi ukuthi iye yasetshenziswa uyena uLieutenant Colonel futhi uthi kula bekade ekhulumisana naye uMuzi futhi ithombe ziye zathwebulwa nakhona kulelo office.
Do you confirm the correctness of the annexure that you've just put in record?
Yes, madam.
Uvumelana nokuthi yonke into ebhaliwe lapho lesi statement ewusenzile kuyiqiniso uthi yebo Nkosi yenkantolo?
My lord, the state requests that the annexure, the statement itself, be admitted as exhibit GG in brackets 2. The photos themselves are exhibit GG in brackets 1. So the annexure will be exhibit GG in brackets 2.
Okay.
Now, Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel, if a proposition was to be made that this annexure exhibit GG2 was pre-written and that the accused, Mr. Sibiya, was forced to sign the annexure, what would your comment be?
It is not correct.
Uma kungathiwa lesi statement sibhalwe ngaphambi kokuthi umsolwa afike kuwena bese yena waphoqwa ukuthi asayine uzothini uthi akulona iqiniso le?
Yes, what is the position?
Firstly, my lord, I did not know Muzi. And I spoke to him and he gave me his particulars that I noted also on this pro forma.
Manje iqiniso yeliphi uthi okokuqala mina ngangikade ngingamazi uMuzi ngiyengakhuluma naye yena wayeqeda wanginika ke imininingwana yakhe yiyo engayibhala phansi.
And I also did not know the contents of the case that I was going to take pointing out on.
Futhi ngangikade ngingenalo ulwazi lwecala leli ebengikade ngiya kulo kuyokhonjwa khona.
So there is no way that I would have filled this information without getting it from him.
ayikho indlela yokuthi mina ngangikade ngizogcwalisa lezi zinto ngaphandle kokuthi ngithole lolo lwazi kuye.
The events referred to in Exhibit GG in brackets 2, the annexure. Did you have any knowledge of those events?
I did not have any knowledge thereof, my lord.
Wena wawukade unalo ulwazi lwalezi zinto ezekade zenzakele uthi cha ngangikade ngingenalo.
There are names referred to in Exhibit GG in brackets 2, such as Makimba Butelezi, Marco Butelezi. Did you know any of those names?
I do not know them, my lord. It was the first time I heard of those names.
Kunamagama akhulunyiwe laphayana uMakimba Buthelezi noMarco Buthelezi. Wawukade ubazi noma uyabazi labo bantu uthi cha bengikade ngingabazi.
A reference is also made to a white polo. Did you know anything about it?
No, my lord, I did not know of any white polo.
Futhi kukhulunywe nangepolo emhlophe uyazi nangayo uthi cha Nkosi yenkantolo ngangikade ngingazi lutho ngayo.
A reference is also made to a nyanga in brackets Sangoma. Did you know anything about it?
No, my lord, I don't know any nyanga.
Futhi kukhulunywe nangenyanga noma yona isangoma wawukade wazi na into ngaye uthi cha Nkosi yenkantolo ngangikade ngingayazi.
And the two places that were pointed out as per photos 14 and 16 and 19 and 21, did you know anything about those places?
No, my lord, I did not know about them.
Futhi ke nale indawo ezimbini ezikhonjiwe kuleza ithombe wawukade uzazi na uthi cha bengingazazi.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Ramusipili.
Just one question.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, fine, Mr. Gomezulu.
So, during the pointing out, the evidence of the pointing out, do you have perhaps any photos which were taken inside the house that you just discovered? Are there any photos? that
No,
were
my lord, there were no photos that were obtained inside the house.
Manje ngalesikhathi uthatha izithombe zikhona izithombe ukuthi zithathwe phakathi endlini na uthi cha Nkosi yenkantolo azikho izithombe zithathwe phakathi endlini.
No further questions.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Mr. Ramusipili.
I don't have any questions, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Likewise, my brother, I don't have any questions.
I don't want to ask the Colonel whether he has ever used the sangom. No, it's because it's a joke. Yes, Mr. Umar.
Thank you, my lord. I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Msholol?
No questions, my lord.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, my lord.
Uyabonga ke uthena uqedile ngobufakazi bakhe.
As a court, please, my lord, can we take the long adjournment?
Okay, long adjournment. 2 o'clock.